guys, welcome back. My name is Patrick, aka the Oilers Fanatic, and this is the Oilers Rundown for January 19th, 2022. First up today, we found out William Legison has cleared waivers and has been assigned to the Oilers taxi squad. So there was some belief that he might get picked up. There was some rumored interest in him, but apparently that didn't come to pass. So for now, Legison remains an Oiler, and I'm happy. I'm glad the Oilers have a depth piece like that to fall back on. We found out today that Brendan Perlini is now questionable for the Oilers-Panthers game tomorrow night. He was slotted in to be playing with Connor McDavid and Kyler Yamamoto, but he left yesterday's practice hobbling apparently. Dave Tippett didn't think it was anything too serious. It still doesn't sound super serious because it's kind of a day-to-day type thing, but it may keep Perlini out of the lineup tomorrow. The Oilers were putting Warren Foegele in his spot in practice today, so we may see Foegele in that spot tomorrow night against Florida. The NHL announced the revised schedule for all the games that had to be postponed today. The Oilers had a total of 9 games postponed. And here's a quick look when those 9 games will now be played, and who they're playing, and at what time. You can check out a more detailed look at this at Oilers.com or on the Oilers Twitter page. In his 32 Thoughts column yesterday, Elliotte Friedman gave us an update on Evander Kane as well as some news and notes on the Oilers. Here's the update on Evander Kane first off. The NHL interviewed Evander Kane last Friday as part of its investigation into his flight to Vancouver. Still no clear timeline on a ruling. David Pagnotta of the Fourth Period posted yesterday that he heard that we could get a ruling on Evander Kane this week. Elliotte Friedman doesn't mention that, so kind of makes me wonder if that will happen. But hopefully for the sake of finding out what's going to happen with Evander Kane one way or the other, we do get a ruling this week. And here's what Elliotte Friedman had to say regarding the Oilers. I think Edmonton's looking harder at acquiring a goalie. Remember, Jaroslav Halak has control in Vancouver and doesn't seem inclined to move. The Oilers are changing course on this issue because missing the playoffs is not an option and the frustration is boiling over. Scouting meetings are in California this week, so owner Daryl Cates can be heard firsthand. So obviously the key points out of that, the Oilers are looking harder at a goalie, playoffs can't be missed, and the frustration, it's boiling over everywhere in the organization, not just with the players. And speaking of the Oilers goalie situation, Elliotte Friedman appeared on the Jeff Marek show today, and they went over a few options the Oilers have. In St. Louis, there's Ville Husso. He makes $750K and is a UFA at year's end. This year in 10 games played, he has a goals against average of 2.22 and a save percentage of .933. Very impressive numbers, albeit in limited duty. The Blues would be willing to move him as they have Jordan Binnington long-term, and Joel Heffer is ready to come up to be the new backup. Simeon Varlimov with the New York Islanders was another option. He makes $5 million this year and next. In 11 games played this year, he has a goals against average of 2.61 and a save percentage of .917. He would bring stability and a veteran presence to the Oilers, and the Islanders could take back Koskinen in that deal. Although with the Varlamov deal, there would definitely be cap issues for the Oilers going forward after this season. There's Vitac Vanicek out of Washington. He currently makes $716,667 and is an RFA at year's end. This year in 19 games played, he has a goals against average of 2.49 and a save percentage of .911. He has strong numbers, he's under team control, and obviously a great cap hit for this season. And another name mentioned was Joonas Korpisalo. He's currently making $2.8 million and is a UFA at year's end. In 14 games played this year, he has a goals against average of 3.95 and a save percentage of .882. This will be more of a Hail Mary move for the Oilers, pretty much swapping Koskinen for Korpisalo and just hoping for the best. Alexander Gyorgyev is another name that's been out there a lot attached to the Oilers, but Friedman and Marek don't think it makes sense for the Rangers to move him right now, and they don't think he'd be available. I think out of those names I mentioned, Vanicek and Husso are the most appealing to me. Great cap hits. They could be Oilers for years to come. But yeah, basically there's no real game-changing goalie out there aside from possibly Marc-Andre Fleury. And you're not going to pay a huge price to bring in Fleury right now if you're not even going to be guaranteed that you can make the playoffs. And Fleury could easily be gone as a free agent at year's end. And even if you wanted to bring Fleury back, money would be a huge issue for the Oilers there. So I think out of all those names, Vanicek and Husso are definitely my top ones to go with. Unless Alexander Gyorgyev becomes available, he'd be another guy I'd also be interested in. Well, I think that's all for now, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If this is your first visit to the channel and you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing for all the latest Oilers content. You've been watching the Oilers Fanatic. Thanks for being a fan. Have a great night, guys, and I'll see you soon. Take care.